Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomeizer. This is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 16. I have 4 words I'm going to take a close look at in this episode, but before we get started, I want you to get ready to read a passage I've written. I want you to read it right out loud to whoever you're there with, and definitely click pause, put a stop to the show to give yourself plenty of time. All right, it's almost like reading a paragraph. You ready? Click pause and read this right out loud. All right, were any of those words tricky to read? Keep watching. In this episode, I'm going to review these 4 words from that passage, show you some information and some strategies you might want to recall next time you're stuck on these words or words like them when you're reading independently. First, a quick reminder of the fable, The Tortoise and the Hare, and the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on a big unfamiliar word while reading independently. I'll use unfamiliar as an example. You can think of these words as races. There is a finish line, and if you read like the hare, you might want to get to that finish line first, and you'll tend to zip through big words like this. That's where mistakes can easily happen. But if you read like the tortoise, you take it slow and steady when you come to these big unfamiliar words. That patience is definitely going to help improve your ability to decode them. All right, keep that in mind. Let's practice. All right, pretty big word here. Starts with X. There's, I recognize as, per, R-controlled vowel sound right in the middle of this word. There's asper, and you recognize this ending. That's a tricky one, but maybe you do. This is exasperation, a really big word. The hare comes to this word, though. What might happen is the hare could read expiration. Pretty easy to do. There is another syllable there towards the beginning. All right, and exasperation is a noun. It has a root word, exasperate. And I'll be honest, I even myself, I don't use this word very often, but it is a word, exasperate. It comes from the ancient language Latin, exasperatus, meaning to make rough or to irritate. Think of a mosquito. So you can see in that Latin word where we get the English word exasperate with a silent E added at the end there. There's another Latin word, exasperationem, meaning an irritation. So there's the noun. It could be a mosquito. An irritation could also be that bite it leaves behind on your arm or wherever you get bit by a mosquito. So you see that A-T-I-O-N? Yeah, that's where we get the English word exasperation. We have to stop and talk about this Latin root here. Ation. It is not pronounced the way it looks in English. Right? It sounds like you should spell it Asian or Asian, depending on, I guess, where you live, but it's A-T-I-O-N. That is a Latin root. Got to remember that for reading and for spelling. Exasperation. And there's expiration. All right, that's also a noun. The root word of expiration is expire. That's a verb that also originates in ancient Latin. Expirare. Expirare, meaning to exhale, to breathe out. Not just to breathe out, to breathe the last breath. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so if you look at the Latin word expirare, you can see where the English word expire comes from. At some point, they added that silent E again, expire. Now, look at the difference here. Without that silent E, that says expir. The silent E turns that per to pyre. So expire generally means to come to an end. Could be a life, but people also say your license will expire. Food can expire, like milk can come to an end, can rot or go bad. So expire has got that silent E on the end. We're going to drop that, turn that back into expir, per, and add the Latin root ation, expiration. Right? And if you look closely at food and other products, there's often an expiration date. Right? You got to look close though. All right, another word from that passage that starts with spawn. Right? Not spoon, but spawn. Tan, looks like tan. And what's going on here? 3 vowels in a row. That's pretty unusual, don't you think? How do you figure that out? Well, it looks like it can end with us. And OU, we all know OU makes the ow sound. Ow, my hand. And maybe that's E-ouse, knee-ouse. Is that spontaneous? Oh, you know what? It's spontaneous. Spontaneous, that's an adjective. And surprise, it also originates in ancient Latin. Spontaneous. mountainous. It's pronounced a little different in Latin. You can see the E, us there at the end. It's two different, it's a weird vowel sound there, the EU. It makes two different sounds. Spontaneous, meaning willing or of your free will. All right, now that sounds pretty confusing. To make sense of that, think back to Mr. Sippy. He had the idea of wanting to go camping, and he said, yeah, let's go camping. All right, because he thought, we will go camping because we are free to go camping. We have that freedom. Nothing's going to get in our way. Let's go camping. Your free will. All right, spontaneous in Latin. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but it's spontaneous in English. Spontane, us. And in English, they separated the E from the U and added an O. And so it's a pretty interesting root there at the end. It comes from Latin. But the Latin root was E-U-S. There is an O now, so you have to remember that. Spelling and reading, spontaneous. And the last word, the hair might think this word says mountains. I'll reason through that word. It does say mountain, but at the end, there's another unusual root here, O-U-S. Is that ouse? This is, O-U sounds like owl. This is mountainous. Mountainous is an adjective. Yes, the root word is, of course, mountain. Mount part makes sense. OU, we've talked about that a couple times in this episode. But the ending, T-A-I-N, that looks like it should say teen. That's a long A sound, typically with that A-I vowel pair. But it says tin. What's going on there? Well, the English word mountain originates in the old French word montagne. Montagne. You can see the T-A-I-N in there. It's a silent G in the French word. And that might explain where we get the word mountain from. Those letters are in the English word mountain, which is the U there. So we've got mountain, and we add the suffix OUS to get mountainous. Now, OUS, pretty interesting suffix. It always takes a noun like mountain, turns it into an adjective, mountainous. That's what OUS does. But it's just an interesting spelling. It looks like it should say ouse, but you just hear us. It's not just us, it's O-U-S. And you see it very often, enormous, sounds like enormous, numerous, numerous, all right, it's O there, and poisonous. You don't want to confuse poisonous with poison us. Well, what? Poisonous? And mountainous. All right, that's it for today's episode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more decoding videos like this one. If you look at my Facebook channel, there's a photo album full of reading challenges I've written to help you continue practice decoding those big words at home and awesomize your fluency. So check it out sometime. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Come back and see me soon. Bye.